but certainly deserve to be at the North American, and certainly deserve a little attention and look as they get older and start producing some semen, because there's some really nice calves out here. Again, we've talked about body and depth and capacity and muscle and stoutness, and I think most of these bulls in this particular lineup, as well as the seconds within their divisions, represent those terms quite well. There's two of them, two or three of them out here, I guess, in this line over here on our side that certainly are in contention and I guess contenders in our opinion, and just a nice array, assortment of bulls that I think have a world to offer to your breed and as you move forward. So with that, I'll go show you the one we like the best, and we'll let Barry find you a second. But congratulations to all you exhibitors.
And your grand champion Purebred Simmental bull goes to entry number 211, GPG Royalty 219H, exhibited by GKB Cattle of Desdemona, Texas. Your reserve grand champion Purebred Simmental bull goes to entry number 197, TJSC Coping with Destiny 9K, exhibited by Jones Show Cattle of Harrod, Ohio. Second call, Class 30, 31 and 32, Purebred Simmentals. Second call, Class 30, 31 and 32, Purebred Simmental females.
We get things kicked off out here in our main show this afternoon with a nice pair. We got an April and a May heifer calf out here. Just to be quite frank, the young lady's white-legged heifer needs to win this class just because she's cooperating better. Sometimes that's just the luck of the draw. Good heifer, though. I mean, I like the skeleton in this female. She's good-bodied. She balances extremely well out here today. She maybe doesn't set down perfect in those ankles on the move, but I still think that her structure is more than functional. The heifer that lands in second, I think there's some really good pieces in her. I think she's a little more tucked up there in her chest, and I like the extension she has through her front 1/3. When they fight like that, it's hard to tell if they balance correctly, and that heifer just maybe doesn't want to get out and move quite as well as that one that wins. But, no fault of her own. She'll have better days ahead of her. Let's go ahead and give them two a hand.
In the final standings of your PTP Ring of Champions in your Purebred Simmental heifers, your Simmental Purebred Show Heifer of the Year goes to GBC XTB Hazel H03, owned by Elmore Cattle Services, XTB Cattle Company, and Pepper Elmore. Your Reserve Show Heifer of the Year goes to LKCC Miss Christiel's Remedy 44J, exhibited by Morgan Jackson. Your Honorable Mention Show Heifer of the Year goes to TJSC Knockout 401H, owned and exhibited by Jones Show Cattle, Brian Searson, and Montana Holzmeyer. Your Purebred Simmental Show Bowl of the Year goes to OBCC Goose GB17, owned by Owen Brothers Cattle Company, XTB Cattle Company, and Elmore Cattle Services. Your Reserve Show Bowl of the Year goes to Rocking P Private Stock H10, owned by Rocking P, Circle M, Red River Farms, Toll Show Cattle, and Griswold Cattle. Your Honorable Mention Show Bowl of the Year goes to Ignition, owned by Tricia Nexzipo & Co. and Genetics Plus. Once again, would all Purebred Simmental Ring of Champion Award winners please come to the picture backdrop. Third and final call, Class 30, 31 and 32 Purebred Simmental females, Class 30, 31 and 32 Purebred Simmental females to the makeup arena.
So we get out here in this March class of these Maine heifer calves. We've got a really nice pair, guys. But with that being said, the young lady's heifer that we're going to use to win the class, I think she's outstanding. Today she's probably got just a little more size and scale to go along with that. But when you break them down and you study them for what they're good at, that heifer's skeleton is extremely genuine. And I didn't expect her to be quite as wide-chested and wide-based as she was when I got up there in front of her and behind her. But I think that's what really sets her apart from that heifer there in second. I love the squareness in her knee. I like the squareness in her hock. And I think there's a really good foundation in that female to be very competitive on down the road. This heifer in second has a very maternal look. I actually prefer her head shape. I know she's not quite as neat up there through her neck as that heifer that wins, but I do like the head shape on that heifer. She too's a very bold made female, especially right there in the center portion of her rib cage. Compared to that one that we used to win, she's maybe not quite as soft in terms of her rear rib yet, and she's maybe just a little rawer in her bone work and just a little more closed up there in her front knee. But really good set of heifer calves there.
First call, Class 5 and 6 Maine-Anjou females. First call, Class 5 and 6 Maine-Anjou yearling females. At this time, we'd also like to introduce our main show judge, Mr. Dustin Frank. Dustin lives in Chapel, Nebraska, and owns and operates Frank Cattle and Genetics with his wife, Kendra, and son, Jesse. Dustin has a focus on raising purebred Angus, Red Angus, and Charolais females, and they host a bull sale in February and female sale in November. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome Mr. Dustin Frank to the North American. Results of your Maine-Anjou show. Your Class 1 winner goes to entry number 3, JST Hillary 428K, owned by Michaela Malone of Cynthia, Kentucky. In second place, entry number 2, Weiss Almy 10F, exhibited by Dustin Font of Medill, Oklahoma. Your Class 2 results: in first place, entry number 9, JBT Daddy's Girl 50K, owned by Callie Baldwin of Winchester, Indiana. In second place, entry number 7, MCCF Kimura, exhibited by Mason Jolliffe of Kenton, Ohio.
So we get these heifer calves back out here for this first division. You know, pretty small in terms of numbers, but a lot of quality out here amongst these three individuals, and even that heifer that was on the fight there in the first class. I think there's still lots of quality in her. She just needs a little time to come around and get her attitude right. But with that being said, young lady's heifer out of that second class. She's just outstanding. You know, I talked about her skeleton there. And that was the reason she won that particular class. But I think it goes a lot further than that. There's an extreme amount of quality in that female, and I think she's got a very exciting future ahead of her. She's going to be your champion in this division. I think that selection for reserve gets pretty tight amongst these two heifers, and I think that's where the real decision is to be made out here in this division. When you get right down to it, though, I think there's one that's maybe just a little more my kind, and young man's heifer that was second in that second class, I just like her maternal look. I know she needs to be squared up there in her knee, but I'm going to keep those two heifers together out of that second class. I really like the maternal look in this female.
And your champion Division 1 Maine-Anjou Junior Heifer Calf goes to entry number 9, JBT Daddy's Girl 50K, owned by Callie Baldwin of Winchester, Indiana. Your reserve champion goes to entry number 7, MCCF Kimura, exhibited by Mason Jolliffe of Kenton, Ohio. Second call, Class 6, Maine-Anjou females. Second call, Class 6, Maine-Anjou females. Third and final call, Class 30. 31 and 32, Purebred Simmentals. Third and final call, Class 30. 31 and 32, Purebred Simmental females.
We've got an outstanding class here of these February heifers, and you know, the heifer I'm going to use to win, she's maybe just a little more advanced looking in her maturity, so that definitely lends to her favor in this class today. But make no mistake about it, her skeleton is the reason she wins the class. I think compared to that heifer in second, she's just a little more correct in the way she lays in her spine, and she probably just handles her rear leg with a little more comfort and stability on the go. You know, I guess maybe she's not as sweet-chested or as sweet-necked as that heifer that comes in second, and I sure enough really like the body shape in that heifer behind her as well. But on the move, today that heifer wants to roll up in her spine a little. She's probably just not quite as durable in the way that she's built in her feet and down low there at the ground. But loads of quality in them two cattle. I think the skeleton in that heifer that wins is exceptional. Young lady, you ran into a tough class. There's no need to be discouraged out here today. Your little heifer's got plenty of future to her as well. Today, she's just not quite as ready as those two there at the top end, but no shame in being third behind them.
Results of class number 3 in your Maine-Anjou female show. In first place and also your Division II champion goes to entry number 75, MCCF MWF Cami, exhibited by Braxton Riedel of Franklin, Indiana. In second place and also your reserve champion goes to entry number 13, JBT Daddy's Princess 100K, exhibited by Aubrey Neal of Osgood, Indiana. In third place, entry number 16, HLA Charlotte K203, exhibited by Hard Luck Acres of Thornville, Ohio.
Well, as we get started in the female portion of the Purebred show, and really a nice set of cow-calf pairs to get started with, and obviously some differences in their kind and design, but you know, I guess the good news is they're doing what God put them on the earth to do, and that's to raise nice calves, and these are two nice calves that they're nursing. Obviously, udder quality is a little bit different on both cows, but they're both got a lot to offer, I think, in terms of rib shape and boldness. The cow that's on this end, we probably like her rib just a little bit better than the cow that's standing right behind her. We like her outer hip and back through her hind leg. We'd like to free her up in terms of her skeleton just a little bit. And we'd probably like to clean her udder up just a little bit as well to make her ideal. The cow right behind her, really a nice cow in terms of her udder, and she has the best udder of the two. Again, nice bull calf on her side. She's a little plainer about her appearance, a little not quite as good and tidy in terms of her rump and from her hooks to pins. And I think for us, we like both calves probably equally. We're going to use the cow on this end to be your champion pair and follow her with the cow right behind her for reserve. Congratulations.
First call, Class 33 and 34 Purebred Simmental females. First call, Class 33 and 34 Purebred Simmental females.
We get into an outstanding class of these bred heifers out here, guys, and young man's heifer that's going to win the class, in my mind, does so pretty handedly. And I don't want to sell short the quality that we have standing out here in front of us, because I think all three of these cattle are really, really good. And, you know, there's some things that I love about the heifers in second and third. And I think the unique thing about the young man's heifer that wins the class is he puts it all together. You know, that heifer has all the pieces that I like in the other two. She's bold, she's good looking, and she's sound. And there's not much more that needs to be said about that one. She's in a league of her own. Young man's heifer in second. You know, out here on the standstill, she's the one that balances like the heifer that wins. She's tucked up nice in her chest. She's got a beautiful head on her and a beautiful neck shape. She's really big-ribbed and bold in the way that she's made there in her forerib. And I think that's the advantage that she has over the young lady's heifer there in third, is just that extra body shape, that extra mass, and that extra squareness down low. Now, maybe she's a little more open and round in her shoulder, and I think that's where that heifer in third does hold the advantage. That one's extremely flexible in her skeleton. But compared to them two heifers above her, she's just a little flatter and a little tighter in her rib shape.
Results of Class 4 in your Maine-Anjou female show. In first place, and also your champion summer heifer, goes to entry number 26, BBRJ of 47J, exhibited by Kelton Arthur of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Your reserve champion Division 3 heifer goes to entry number 25, BBR Junebug 125J, exhibited by Wyatt Dunklow of Wayne, Nebraska. In third place, entry number 24, Jamie Hoblin. All Maine-Anjou bulls, Class 7, 8, 9, and 10 to the makeup arena. All Maine-Anjou bulls, Class 7, 8, 9, and 10 to the makeup arena.
Really nice trio of females over here as we get started in the heifer portion of the purebred show, and really a nice calf to start with. She gives you that maternal look at an early age that we like. Heifer that's certainly good in terms of her muscle and her thickness. Again, you like her attractiveness up through her front end, and her front end lays to her, shoulder lays into her really, really nice, and she's just very free and honest in terms of her movement. Really a nice female. A young lady's heifer coming in second is extremely exquisitely made up through her front end, and you like her neck that she has. You like the shape of her head. You like her body and her depth and her capacity. You like her out through her rump section, but maybe not as tidy right through her hooks to pins as the heifer that leads off the class. She may get just a little steeper about her shoulder than the class winner, but that's nitpicking on an awfully good one. That young lady's got a nice calf that has a lot of future ahead of her. As could be said about the young man's heifer coming in third, again, we like her body shape and her depth and spring she has to her rib. She's got enough muscle for us. We'd like to see her handle her hind leg just a little bit better. Maybe just clean her up ever so slightly up through her front 1/3. But again, a really nice trio of good quality females.
Once again, we've got an outstanding set of these March and April bred heifers out here, and I think freshness is what determines the top end of this deal. You know, you get these two heifers out here that are probably just a little more maternal in their look compared to the two on the fence over there, and that's kind of the dividing line there. But when you compare these two heifers, I think there's a little more leanness in the heifer that's going to win the class today, and I think she's just a little more genuine in her broodiness. I think she's bolder there in her forerib. I think she's got more spring to her upper rib, and there's more base width in that heifer. And then on the travel, I think that she handles that hind leg with just a little more stability as well. Young man's heifer that's going to be second there, I love her look from the side. She looks like just a western Nebraska cow out there, you know, just deep-bodied, feminine in terms of her features, and just balanced extremely well. You know, like I said, you compare her to that heifer that wins the class, she's just not as opened up. She's maybe got a little more chest to her. She's a little narrower in the way that she's built, and I just don't know that she's nearly as genuine as that heifer that wins the class. Heifer that comes in third is just a big old brute. I mean, there's a ton of bone and power in that female. You know, of course, it comes at a cost. She's just a little coarser in the way that she's made, and she don't get out and move quite as well as them two heifers on up ahead of her. And then we round things out with another very high-quality female here. once again, she's got a ton of stoutness to her, and that almost works to her disadvantage because she's just maybe a little too open in her shoulder, a little too tight and roached there in her spine, and doesn't want to get out and move quite as comfortably as those other cattle.
Third and final call, class 33 and 34, purebred Simmental females. Third and final call, class 33 and 34, Simmental females.
Well, here in the Simmental ring, two heifers, but two heifers that are very competitive and very similar in their type and kind. Donnie and I chose to use the gentleman's heifer up top here. We think she ties just a little bit higher out of the top side of that shoulder. We think she's a little fuller in her rib cage coming out of her shoulder and carries that all the way back into her flank just a little bit better than our second place heifer does. We like this heifer. When we put her into motion, she gets out and goes very, very nicely. The heifer that comes second, like I stated, I think our class winner is just a little bigger and bolder in terms of her rib cage. I think she's a little more flexible, actually, on both ends. But those are two really high-quality females they brought to us in that class.
First call, class 35, purebred Simmental females. First call, class 35, Simmental females. Results of Class 5 at your Maine-Anjou Heifer Show. In first place, entry number 28, BBR Alley 262J, exhibited by Tyler Miller of Armington, Illinois. In second place, entry number 35, Vivian Money in the Bank 13, exhibited by TJ Gecke of State Center, Iowa. In third place, entry number 31, Colin Federke. In fourth place, entry number 29, Raymond Beneker. Second call, class 35, purebred Simmental females. Second call, class 35, purebred Simmental females. Second call, all Maine-Anjou bulls. Second call, all Maine-Anjou bulls in class 7, 8, 9, and 10.
We've got total opposite ends of the spectrum out here in these two females here in this February class. And, you know, I think there's loads of quality in both of them. But the young lady's white-legged heifer that's going to win, she's just more my speed. I do prefer that she is a little more moderate in her frame size. She's a little softer and more maternal in the sweep to that rib. They've got her presented impeccably out here today. And her balance here from the side is very unique. There's a lot of good in that heifer. I like her a bunch. The heifer that comes in second there is definitely high performing. I love the extension in her. I like the length of body. You have to appreciate the performance that she offers. For me, she's just maybe a little more closed up underneath, maybe doesn't have quite the same sweep to her body or quite the same balance that we get in that heifer that wins the class. But nonetheless, two good females out here that are great structured.
Third and final call, class 35, purebred Simmental females. Third and final call, class 35, purebred Simmental females. Results of Class 6 Deer Maine-Anjou show: in first place, entry number 39, TREB Miss Jasper 7130J, exhibited by Weston Grower of Shiloh, Ohio. In second place, entry number 40, TTTS Miss CC 31J, exhibited by Kobe Ishmael of Boswell, Indiana. Class 34 Purebred Simmental females, you should be in the makeup arena. Once again, Class 34 Purebred Simmental females to the makeup arena immediately.
We get these first and second places back out here for this division selection. You know, things come together really nicely. You know, both these class winners are outstanding females in their own right, and I think they have a bunch of use and practicality outside of the show ring. They're both great-bodied, good structured cattle that are fresh and feminine in the way that they're constructed up through their front ends. And you know, I think there's some minor details amongst the two of them that you know, you could go either way. You know, some will prefer the really outstanding look in the white-legged female. She's so beautiful up there through her front end and her shoulder and her head, and she draws back into an awesome body shape. And once again, she just gets out here and glides on the move. You know, for some, she might be just a little more on the moderate side and a little more on the small side. You know, I made mention that was part of the reason I liked her when I used her to win the class. And then this heifer that come out of that first class, she's an absolute beast. You know, it's hard to make them that wide and that genuine and that correct in terms of their skeletal width and mass, and still keep them functional and correct in terms of their structure. So I admire those things about both of those females. You know, I guess at the end of the day, I think it's hard to make them that stout and that sound. Young lady with the black heifer is going to be your champion. Young lady with the white-legged one, you'll be reserved.
Another nice class on the purebred side of the Simmental ring, and again, three heifers really nice. These top three heifers certainly have a lot of quality. They're good looking. They're just good, solid cattle, I guess, in our opinion. We like the body and the mass, and the heifer that wins the class, we just think she's probably the stoutest and gives you the most power of the two that are behind her. Again, you like her through her front end. She's very sleek in her design and in really good rig for today. And she gets out and travels quite nicely off of both ends of her skeleton, and one that that we just think kind of overpowers the rest of them in terms of just stoutness. Really a nice kind of a female. The gentleman's heifer in second, and he's drug out a lot of good cattle today, and they're mainly kind of peas in the pod. Good female. Love her boldness of rib shape, love her down through her top. She's tidier and nicer in terms of how she's made from her hooks to pins in comparisons with the heifer that's in third. We just like to maybe see just a little bit more heifer in her, only comparisons with the class winner. Good heifer coming in third, and this one kind of hits you pretty hard when she first walked in. Again, you like her boldness of rib shape and her kind. She's big-footed, she's big-boned. She gets up in her top just a little bit, particularly on the move. We'd like to change how she's made from her hooks to pins and just level her out there through her hip. As she gets just a little tight in her flank as she watch her walk, but again, a nice female. Young lady's heifer coming in next. Again, you like her design and her kind. We'd like to just see her with some more rib shape, some more boldness, but she's beautifully presented up through that front 1/3, and she's nice in terms of her bone work and in terms of her structural integrity. As we get on down through the line, the last three females, again, just not the overall completeness, balance, eye appeal, symmetry, a lot of words that you could use to run with those powerful ones up on the top of this class, but nonetheless, our congratulations to these exhibitors on bringing a nice set of cattle, particularly in this class. Thank you.
Results of your Maine-Anjou show your Division 4 champion. Junior heifer goes to entry number 28. BBR Alley 262J, exhibited by Tyler Miller of Armington, Illinois. Your reserve Division 4 champion goes to entry number 39. TREB Miss Jasper 7130, exhibited by Weston Grauer of Shiloh, Ohio. Now exhibiting in the ring is a selection of your grand champion Maine-Anjou heifer. Third and final call, all Maine-Anjou bulls to the makeup arena. Third and final call, all Maine-Anjou bulls to the makeup arena. This includes class 7, 8, 9, and 10. First call, all Mainetainer bulls, class 11, 12, 13, and 14. Once again, first call, all Mainetainer bulls, class 11, 12, 13, and 14.
So we get all these division winners back out here. You know, things have shaped up really nice over here on the Maine-Anjou side. We didn't have a lot of numbers, but this is as good of a high Maine show as I've ever seen, all the way from the calf divisions up to those big breds down there at the end. And, you know, once again, the quality's been exquisite. You guys have these cattle presented extremely well. And I think that, you know, it's important to make note that these Maine-Anjous are really headed in the right direction. We talk about it at home, you know, fairly frequently, and there's a lot of good in this breed, and there's a lot that this breed has to offer to real-world production, you know, past the show ring. And I wish there was more people in the seats that could see these cattle and see how functionally they are constructed and see the value that they bring to beef production, because there's a lot of good. And my hat's off to you guys that are breeding these things and getting the genetics in place to have a very productive and functional herd book. You know, I don't have much to say about each of these class winners. We've talked about them all here this afternoon individually, but in my mind, there's one female out here that's as good as you can make them. And there's one female out here that, regardless of breed, has a great deal of function and use past the show ring. Young man with the white-bellied heifer is going to be your champion.
Really a nice division, and I've probably sound like a broken record to you, but again, I believe in being positive, and it's been pretty easy, I guess, today to be positive on this set of cattle, because these are all really, really nice cattle. And at the end of the day, and you've heard me say it before, to me, that's kind of what it's about. just going out and finding the quality within these classes, and certainly these 6 individuals I think are very, very high quality. As I've said earlier throughout the day, you can switch them around however you would like, and in terms of what appeals to you. We all see cattle somewhat differently, but we just have tried to stick with basics today and just fundamental traits, and I think these 6 heifers represent that pretty well. The heifer out of the first class, I just really like a lot, and I think there's a lot of future in this one. I love her body shape. I love the size that she's in today. I really admire her for her front end that she has in her. I love that head, neck, and shoulder. She's certainly thick-ended enough, I think, at this age, and one that is ultra sound as she gets out and travels. So that's one that I think is certainly a contender within this division. Gentleman's heifer coming in next. Again, we liked her in that particular class. We just found her to be the most fault-free in her kind. Again, when you get her back out here, she doesn't disappoint you. You like her body depth and her capacity. You like her through her front end. You like her outer hip, back to her hind leg, and maybe not as much heifer on as the heifers on each end of her. But here's a really good one. We ended up that class or this division again with another nice female that shows you body, rib shape, thickness, muscling, along with structural integrity and correctness. And so 3 really good females vying for this championship in this division, along with 3 second placers over there that certainly have a world of future ahead of them. So with that, I congratulate this exhibitors. I'll go show you the one I like the best.
Your grand champion Maine-Anjou female goes to entry number 26, BBR Jaya 47J, exhibited by Kelton Arthur of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Your reserve grand champion Maine-Anjou heifer goes to entry number 28, BBR Alley 262J, exhibited by Tyler Miller of Armington, Illinois. Congratulations, Maine-Anjou female exhibitors. Once again, this is your 3rd and final call. Class 7, 8, 9, and 10 Maine-Anjou bulls to the makeup arena immediately. Second call, all Mainetainer bulls. Class 11, 12, 13, and 14 to the makeup arena. Second call, all Mainetainer bulls. Second call, Class 36, Purebred Simmental females. Second call, Class 36, Purebred Simmental females. Your Class 30 results of your Purebred Simmental Cow-Calf Show. Your grand champion purebred pair went to entry number 215, Orchard Aces, exhibited by Your grand champion purebred pair went to entry number 215, exhibited by Orchard Acres of Brandon, Wisconsin. Your reserve grand champion purebred pair went to entry number 216, Payson Collins of Hillsboro, Ohio. Your Division I Purebred Simmental female goes to entry number 7, Rocking P Built to Love, K67, exhibited by Circle M Farms and Rockin' P Livestock of Maysville, Kentucky. Your reserve champion Division I female goes to entry number 47, Rockin' P Black Cap, K16, exhibited by Circle M Farms and Rockin' P Livestock of Maysville, Kentucky. First call, Class 37, Purebred Simmental females. First call, Class 37, Purebred Simmental females.
Well, again, a nice class of purebred Simmental heifers over here on your Simmental side. And for Donnie and I, a real logical place to start in this particular class. Gentleman brought out a heifer that's very, very striking when you get off and view her from the side. We like the way that neck comes out of the top of the shoulder. She's a female that's really big and bold in terms of her rib cage. Really like her from hooks to pins. She's really square and level and sits out wide in her pins. And when we get this one on motion, she's really fluid in terms of her movement. She gets out and goes really, really good. Very high quality heifer to start off with. Gets a little closer than between 2 and 3. We're going to use the young man's heifer here. I think just in terms of the maternal look she gives you from her shoulder forward, she just got that maternal angular look. She looks like a cow, and particularly in her lower rib cage, I think she excels the heifer that comes in third. She's a female that's really good out through her hip. She doesn't quite have the power that our class winner does. She's really nice built, just a really solid female to come second in this class. We like the heifer in third. She's attractive up through her front 1/3. Very powerful when you get behind her and view her from the rear. She's really wide in terms of her pin set. She's a female, like I stated. She don't have quite the boldness down in her lower rib cage, particularly back through her flank, as we compare it to the 2 heifers above her in this class. The heifer that comes next is one that's also stout and powerfully built. She gets a little rounder in her hip. Her tail head wants to come up out of her a little bit when she gets into motion, but that's a really powerful, boldly constructed heifer. The heifer that comes next gets a little flatter in terms of her overall makeup, just a little rounder about her joints, and just maybe a little coarser about her total overall skeleton and bone work. We conclude the class with 2 heifers just lack a little bit in quality, just a little bit of imbalance comparing them to the heifers earlier in the class.
Third and final call, Class 36, Purebred Simmental females. Third and final call, Class 36, Purebred Simmental females. Second call, Class 37, Simmental females. Second call, Class 37, Simmental females. Third and final call, all Maintainer bulls. Third and final call, all Maintainer bulls. This includes Class 11, 12, 13, and 14. Once again, all Maintainer bulls to the makeup arena.
We've got an outstanding individual out here in this first class of Maine-Anjou bulls. Just a lot of good in this bull. Very rugged in his design. He's got a great body shape in him for this age and the stage that we're at here. And the thing I like about him the best is he kind of supersedes the class already in terms of his testicular development. That's a really good-footed, good balanced bull that's stouter than the rest of them as well. Just a very, very complete individual there. Young man's little bull that comes in behind him is the one that most closely follows him just in terms of eye appeal and balance. He too is stout and wide in the way that he's constructed. He's got a really nice neck attachment up there on his shoulder. He's just maybe not quite as comfortable in his movement compared to that bull that wins. He's a little rounder out of his hip, maybe a little tighter there in his rear hock. Young lady's bull that's going to round things out. I think there's better days ahead of this guy. Fundamentally, he's very correct. He's sound in terms of his structure. He's got some base width to him. He just needs to bloom in terms of his muscle and his rib shape. But a really great way to kick off this Maine bull show. Let's give them guys a hand.
Good class of purebreds, heifer that we're starting the class with. I guess for us is just kind of the combination of a lot of good traits. Again, you like her body, her depth, her spring to her ribs. She's tidy and collectively nice back through her hip and through her hind leg, and certainly has enough muscle, I guess, for us today. she's fairly sleek and attractive up through her front end, and one that we find to probably just be the soundest one out here. Like the big heifer that's coming in next, she's not really wanting to be out here today, and she just gets a little tense about her skeleton, in our opinion. Doesn't take a very long stride. She wants to get up in her top just a little bit, but that's one in terms of rib shape and boldness and length you certainly have to appreciate. Gentleman's heifer coming in next, again, really a nice female in terms of her body. Again, when you get up off of her, she's adequate in terms of her muscle. We'd like to change her the way she handles both ends of her skeleton just a little bitty bit in comparisons with the two front runners, but a good female. Nice female in third or in fourth here. Again, a female that shows you some body and some substance and some mass. Maybe not hooked together quite as nicely as the three above her in terms of how she's made through that hip and back through that hind leg, but she's got some body and she's very nice and attractive up through her front end. Young lady's heifer comes that ends up the class. Again, we like a lot of things about this heifer. Again, you like her rib shape, you like the female, how she's made through her hip. Maybe not the overall attractive one out here through her front 1/3. Maybe just a little choppier on the move. She wants to kind of lead with her knee just a little bit. We'd like to change the structure on her through her front end, but a good female. Nice class.
Your Class 7 results of your Maine-Anjou bulls: in first place, entry number 45, Mr. Buddy, owned by Natalie Derwester of Camp Point, Illinois. In second place, entry number 60, CHBB Black Knight, owned by Macy Banter of Eaton, Indiana. In third place, entry number 46, SHFR Fame K216, exhibited by Hard Luck Acres of Thornville, Ohio.
Working right through these purebred heifer calves, and again, for females that certainly have a lot of quality to them, and at the end of the day, when you just step back and look at them and analyze them for what they are, they're just good cattle, and just have a lot of good things, I think, to bring to the table. The heifer that wins the first class, beautiful in her presentation, one that's striking and when you get her set up and gets her parked, and you like her body, you like the center portion of her rib shape that she shows you, you like her front end, she just shows you a lot of true balance and symmetry and completeness. Does all that on a nice, sound, and structurally correct kind of a package. Really a nice female that's right behind her again, and female that we talked in class. We like her lines. We like her down through her top, and that's probably where she beat the heifer on her other side. We just found her to be a little freer in terms of her movement. But again, one that gives you some body and depth and some capacity, good out through her hip, back through her hind leg, pretty sound in her structure. So we'll go out and select your champion and reserve in this division. And once again, my congratulations to these exhibitors.
I didn't expect my toughest decision today to be here in the bull show, to be right honest. So far, you know, I think that these two bulls here at the top end of this class, they complement each other really well because they're totally different in their type. And if I could put the two bulls together, I think I'd have a perfect one. You know, the way it stands, I'm going to go ahead and use the bull that's a little further along in his maturity today, just because he's extra stout. I like the boldness of the forerib in this bull. I like the way that he ties in behind his shoulder a little better today, and I like the extra ruggedness that he has in terms of his feature. Now, with that being said, I think there are a few issues that come along with that. I'd probably like to change him in terms of his head shape and smooth him up there through that shoulder. But for as massive and stout as he is, he still handles it very well out here on the move, and I couldn't convince myself that he needed to be beat. Young lady's bull here in second, I think there's a tremendous amount of future in that guy. You know, from the side profile here, he gives you just an amazing look. I love the extension that he has up there from his shoulder ahead. I think he is better in terms of his head shape, and structurally, that guy's as smooth as you can make one. Today, he's just a little rawer in terms of his body shape, a little flatter in his forerib, and doesn't hook up quite right in behind his shoulder. Young man's bull that rounds things out. Just a very useful and functional type of a guy here. I like his athleticism. I just think that he's a little plainer than them two bulls ahead of him. Maybe doesn't give you quite the extra pizzazz or stoutness that we particularly find in that winner.
Your Division II champion in your Purebred Simmental female show goes to entry number 70. JSOL TSNC Lady in Black, 2181K, exhibited by Tim Schaefer, Show Cattle, and Hadley Hendrickson. Your Division II reserve champion goes to entry number 88. CCS JS Summer, 1K, exhibited by JS Simmental and XTB Cattle of Prairie City, Iowa. And there's a correction in your catalog. Entry number 88 is your Division II reserve champion. It was exhibited by JS Simmentals of Prairie City, Iowa.
Got an outstanding single entry over here in the bull show. You know, like I talked there before the female show about these Maine cattle having value outside of the show ring. I think this bull is a great representative of that theory. Good-footed, solid in the way that he's built in terms of his structure. He's extra stout and extra wide, but he does have that balance and that presence that you need to show him. Just a lot of quality in that guy. There's not much that I think would need to be changed on him. Just loads of quality.
Well, here on the Simmental side, there's three winter heifers here or four, excuse me, that are really, really nice. This is a good class all the way through. And with that being said, a really good one on the top end. I think this is one of the heifers that kind of suits a lot of the things we've been doing today. And very feminine and maternal up through her front 1/3. Study her from the ground up. She's got a big old foot on her. Really like the angulation and the set she has to that knee and to that hock. And she's a heifer that has some volume and some capacity to her. So a really, really good place to start off this class. Really powerful heifer that comes next. This one here, just big, bold rib cage, and you get behind her, and she's really stout. Those pins sit out there really square and wide. I like that about her a lot. She's a heifer, you know, as you compare her to the class winner, she's not quite as attractive through that front 1/3. Her shoulder don't sit in quite as nicely as our class winner does, but that's a really powerful individual that goes second. We like the cow look of the heifer that comes third in this class. She's got a big old bold rib cage on her. Just has that nice moderate look that she's going to go on and make a cow. We'd like to free her up once we put her into movement, into motion on both ends. I think that would help her out, but we do appreciate the look she gives us. She sure looks like she's going to make a mama cow. We conclude with the red heifer. Gets just a little shallower in terms of her depth of rib, in terms of her depth of flank, but she's a heifer that's got some muscle and some dimension to her nonetheless.
First call, Class 38 and 39 Purebred Simmental females. First call, Class 38 and 39 Purebred Simmental females.
We get a single entry out here in our full blood division, and dang sure a good bull. You know, we don't get to see a lot of those at home, particularly, but you know, there's a lot of use for this guy. He's good in terms of his foot shape. He's very athletic in his movement, but I like the extra performance and power that comes with that. Very masculine in terms of his feature up there through his front end, and then just a great muscle shape all the way through. I think that's a very, very good representative of this full-blood division. I wish we had more of them to see.
Results of your Maine-Anjou Bull Show at your Class 8 winner went to entry number 48, Why Not Kong 2K, exhibited by Hannah Topmiller of Pleasant Plain, Ohio. In second place, entry number 47, MCCF Keno, exhibited by Candace Muir of Waynesfield, Ohio. In third place, entry number 49, MCCF Kool-Aid, exhibited by Candace Muir of Waynesfield, Ohio. Your Class 9 results. In first place, entry number 50, K&A Chester 50J, exhibited by Liss Livestock of Algona, Iowa. Your Class 10 results. In first place, entry number 42, FCF Redstone 6H, exhibited by Fancy Creek FM of Sherman, Illinois. Now exhibiting in the Maine-Anjou ring is the selection of your grand champion Maine-Anjou Bull. Second call, Class 38 and 39 Purebred Simmental females. Second call, Class 38 and 39. First call, Class 40, Purebred Simmental females. First call, Class 40, Purebred Simmental females.
As we get all these division winners back out here to select your champion bull over here in the main ring. Once again, just an outstanding set of bulls. There wasn't a big group of them here this morning or this afternoon, I guess. But I think the quality is dang sure there. You know, not just in these division winners, but even them bulls standing over there that were reserved in their respective divisions. Just good cattle all the way through. That being said, though, guys, I think that there's one bull that hit me pretty hard when he come into the ring, and you know, I think there's one out here that really suits me well, just in terms of the functionality over his form. You know, like I made mention there in his class, you know, it's hard to make them stout like that and rugged and masculine in their build, but keep them functional and correct in terms of their structure. And a young lady here in front of me is going to have your champion bull. He does all those things really well. I think when it comes down to selecting this reserve bull out here, things get a little tighter. You know, the full blood's really good. I like that bull pretty good. You know, especially given his percentage and being a full blood. But in my mind, the decision comes down between these two bull calves here on my right. You know, they're quite a bit different in their type and kind. You know, I think there's some things I'd like to change about both of them. But at the end of the day, you know, in class, I was probably a little more critical of this young lady's bull just in terms of his head shape and his shoulder. But when he comes back out here, I think that his power and his productivity needs to stay with our champion. She's going to be reserved.
And your grand champion Maine-Anjou bull goes to entry number 50, K&A Jester 50J, exhibited by List Livestock of Algonia, Iowa. Your reserve grand champion Maine-Anjou bull goes to entry number 48, Why Not Kong 2K, exhibited by Hannah Topmiller of Pleasant Plain, Ohio. First call, class 15 and 16, Mainetainer females. First call, class 15 and 16, Mainetainer females. Third and final call, class 39, Purebred Simmental females. Third and final call, class 39. Your Class 36 results of your Purebred Simmental female show: in first place, entry number 98, Bramlett's TSSC Dakota J180, exhibited by Tim Schaefer Show Cattle and Seth Martin of Hagerstown, Indiana. In second place, entry number 97, STCC Serena's Time 177J, exhibited by Trenopole Farms and Elizabeth Bach of Middletown, Indiana. In third place, entry number 93, Swain Select Simmentals. In fourth place, entry number 101, Quentin Frederick.
really a nice class, and as I've said earlier, it's fun when you can say that and say it kind of all day long. And this is really a good class of females all the way through. And I'm not going to argue with you if you like a few of these differently than the way that we have them placed, but it's our opinion today, and we like the heifer that wins the class quite a little bit. Here's one that just shows you a tremendous amount of body and rib shape and just enough power and substance for us, one that's very sound and true and moves extremely well as she goes. And where she has a little advantage, I think, over a few of these is up through her front 1/3. She's a little longer about her neck, a little sleeker in her design. I think she just shows you more of a maternal cow look. Maybe a little closer placing in second and third, and here's two really, really powerfully constructed females. Like the heifer in second, I think she fits the heifer that wins the class a little bit more. Like her body, like her depth, like her spring that she has to her rib. She's not quite as long in her neck. She has just a little bit more lower brisket maybe in comparisons with the heifer that wins the class. But that one, just in terms of body depth and capacity and natural muscle and width, certainly is an awfully good one. Really like the barrel and the body that the heifer in third gives you. Probably if you're looking for muscle from behind, she's the heaviest muscle within this class. To us today, she's a little shorter about her neck, a little straighter about her shoulder, and maybe not as a maternal look as the two above her have, but again, really a powerfully constructed female. Fourth place heifer, really good as well. And again, we've talked straightness and squareness of hip and straightness of lines down through her top, and she excels in those traits. Maybe not as good in terms of how she's made back through that hip and hind leg in comparisons with the three above her, but nonetheless, I think a really nice kind of a female. We end up this class with a good heifer. This young man should be proud of what he's brought to the fair. Really like her in terms of her body depth and her capacity. She's not quite hitched together quite as nice through that hip, and we'd like to change the structure of her hind leg and change her soundness and her structural correctness a little bit. But again, a really, really nice heifer. Good class. Looking forward to seeing them all back out.
As we get into this first class of these Mainetainer bull calves, young man's bull that's going to win. He had his athleticism on full display there. I get to use corny dad jokes now, Lindsay. But all kidding aside, that's a really good bull. Good structured, great bodied. You know, he looks like the type of cattle that we breed back home. Smooth in terms of their joints, balanced well, and very easy fleshing. You know, I guess maybe you'd expect a Maine to have just a little more muscle shape and a little more power. And if you wanted to be nitpicky on that bull, that might be what you'd have to say about him. But in my mind, I think there's enough there. And as that bull matures, he's always going to be sound and good-bodied and correctly made. And I'd sure like to see some daughters out of that bull. I think he's got a tremendous amount of future ahead of him. The bull in second there is just a little raw and green today, specifically compared to that class winner. I like the extension. I like the muscle shape and the length of body in that guy. He just needs to mellow out a little bit. I'd like to soften him up in terms of his rib shape and just give him a little easier flesh and look. Young lady's bull that rounds things out here. Good bull. He's just behind them other two right now. He don't quite have the same performance. He's kind of wanting to fight there on the lead a little bit too, and roaches up in his top line. Maybe doesn't give us the most athletic look yet. But once again, good set of Mainetainer bulls. Let's give them a hand.
Results of Class 37 in your Purebred Simmental female show. In first place, entry number 104, J. Saul PCC Proud Mary, 1532J, exhibited by Brecken Bloomberg of Secor, Illinois. In second place, entry number 110, WHF Summer 4J, exhibited by Ann Lawrence Allen and Wayward Hill Farm of Versailles, Kentucky. In third place, entry number 119, Tim Schaefer Show Cattle and Hogan Hendrickson. In fourth place, entry number 106, River Bluff Cattle Company. In fifth place, entry number 102, Addison Fennig.
Over on the purebred semi side, and four, again, as we've mentioned throughout this day, four really high quality females, and just some small differences, I guess, in between the four, the way you look at them or from our vantage point. And the heifer that wins the first class, again, very striking, and from the side view profile, you like her lines, you like her straightness at top and back through her hip, you like her through her front end, through her head, neck, and shoulder. A female, again, that gives you adequate substance in terms of body depth and capacity. She's big boned, she's big footed, and one that's awfully good, and certainly one that has a bright future ahead of her. The black and white heifer, the white stocking female here that wins the last class, beautifully presented. Really love her body shape and her depth of rib and the power that she possesses. Again, we thought that she excelled in that particular class, particularly about her length through her front end, and she's fairly sleek through her shoulder, straight in her lines, good out her hip, very sound. The two heifers on the other side, again, good cattle that have a tremendous future ahead of them, in our opinion. And so it's kind of splitting hairs, and as I've said throughout the day, this is just our opinion today, and you stick with what you like and what brings you to the table. We're not going to disagree with you a whole lot. We're going to plead our case, I guess, because these are the kind that we like. I'll show you the ones that is going to win. We'll have Barry go pick your reserve. Congratulations.
Your Division III Purebred Simmental champion goes to entry number 104, J. Saul PCC Proud Mary, 1532J, exhibited by Brecken Bloomberg of Secor, Illinois. Your reserve champion goes to entry number 110, WHF Summer 4J, exhibited by Ann Lawrence Allen and Wayward Hill Farms of Versailles, Kentucky. Second call, Class 40, Purebred Simmental females. Second call, Class 40, Purebred Simmental females. This is your first call, Class 41 and 42, Purebred Simmental females. First call, Class 41 and 42, Purebred Simmental females.
We've got outstanding quality in front of us out here in these two winter-born Mainetainer bulls. And, you know, it really comes down to that hip and hind leg structure in my mind between the pair. You know, they're both really good-looking, correctly balanced type cattle. You know, the bull that I'm going to use to win the class is just set square in his pin set. He's more secure in the way that he's constructed there in his hock, and I really like the way that bull gets out on the move. Now, when you compare the two of them, back and forth, that bull gives up about a month of maturity to the blue roan bull, and that can skew the results a little bit here in these younger cattle, especially. There is probably just a little more width and dimension in this guy, but I think when you compare him to that class winner, he's just a little rounder out of his hip and maybe just not quite as secure in the way that he sets down on his hind leg. We've got a great deal of performance out here in this fall-born bull here, this fall yearling bull that the young lady brought to town. I love the length. I like the growth. I like the muscle shape in that guy. He's just a little body shape away from being perfect balance too. He's got a nice look up there through that front end, and he sets up correct in his hip and hind leg. He just needs to be a little bigger bodied and a little bolder ribbed for me. But outside of a little rib shape, there's a lot of good in that bull. I really like his masculinity and his ruggedness to go along with it.
Second call, Class 16, Mainetainer females. Second call, Class 16, Mainetainer females to the makeup arena.
Well, another nice class of Simmentals over here, and we think a logical place to start in this particular class. A female that's really angular, really maternal in her overall look that she gives us out here today, and yet to be that angular and maternal looking, she's got some width and dimension about her. We put her into motion. I think she excels the rest of the class just in terms of movement. I think she gets around the ring the most free and easy compared to anything within this class. We think it's a very good place to start. Gets closer from there back. I think both of these next two heifers push a little more chest for us, but this one here in second, we like her from her shoulders back. We like the rib cage that she has. She's really level from hooks to pins. We like that about her. We put this heifer into motion. She gets out and goes relatively good. We'd like to tweak her just a little bit off her front too, how she goes about the ring, but a really deep, cowy kind of female coming in second. As is the heifer that comes in third. She's another one. We love her rib cage. She's just got a cow look about her. We'd like to clean her up right between her front legs a little bit in that brisket area. But she's one that's just big and bold in her rib cage, and we really like that about her. She's one that gets out and goes relatively nicely as well here today. The heifer that comes next is one, she's a female that's sure stout in her overall makeup. She's really good down her top. She's really level out through her hip. She's not quite as maternal in terms of her look through her front 1/3 as we compare her to the three cattle ahead of her today, but a high quality heifer nonetheless. Then the young man's heifer we conclude with, she's one that also gives us that cow look, but we'd like to change the way she moves off her hind two, maybe see her just a little deeper right there in her flank as we compare her to her counterparts here today.
Got another outstanding individual here in the Maintainer Bull Show. You know, just really my speed in terms of body shape, hoof shape, structure. He's the kind of bull that I'd envision making some outstanding daughters on down the road. I love the looseness of his spine. I love the set to his rib and the boldness that he still possesses for being that athletic and sound. Just a load of quality in that bull.
Results of your Maintainer Bull Show of Class 11. In first place, entry number 3, BDCC AGRF RIP 138K, exhibited by Jason Hose of Boonesboro, Maryland. In second place, entry number 4, CFBC Tank, exhibited by Brittany Conkey of Hicksville, Ohio. In third place, entry number 2, Brittany Conkey. Your Class 12 results. In first place, entry number 5, Dunk Francisco 201K, exhibited by Hadley Dunklau of Wayne, Nebraska. In second place, entry number 8, BKUI Fast Track, exhibited by BK Cattle Company of Zeeland, Michigan. Your Class 13 winner went to entry number 10, CFBC Mr. Titan, exhibited by Brittany Conkey of Hicksville, Ohio. Your Class 14 winner went to entry number 11, Men Moving Forward 180J, exhibited by Jason D. Minert and J.S. Simmentals of Atkinson, Illinois. Now exhibiting in the Maine-Anjou ring is a selection of your Grand Champion Maintainer Bull. Your Class 38 Purebred Simmental female results. Your class winner and also your Division 4 champion goes to entry number 135, J-Saw Relentless Mary 1166J, exhibited by Sabi Robinson of Cushing, Oklahoma. Your reserve Division 4 female and second in place in Class 38 goes to entry number 124, LAA LJR Miss Caracas 100J, exhibited by Addison Barlow of Monticello, Illinois. In third place, entry number 128, Swain Select Simmentals. In fourth place, entry number 122, Holly Marsh. In fifth place, entry number 132, Reed Barker. Third and final call, Class 40, Purebred Simmental females. Third and final call, Class 40. Second call, Class 41 and 42, Purebred Simmental females. Second call, Class 41 and 42. First call, Class 43, Purebred Simmental females. First call, Class 43, Simmental females.
So we get this group of Mainetainer Bull Show division winners back together out here. Once again, just blown away with the quality of the cattle from top to bottom. These cattle are they're really good. I'd venture to bet that some of these bulls out here probably fit into that new Maine Angus division, and I think that's a really exciting avenue for Maine-Anjou breeders to continue to crossbreed these cattle, but keep maternal focus. And I guess I can see that pretty evidently out here. There's a lot of these bulls that look like they're going to make some phenomenal daughters, just in terms of their rib shape, their hoof shape, their skeletal quality, and their outstanding eye appeal. With that being said, though, there's one individual that really hit me hard when he come into the ring, and I think that his maturity is in his favor today. But that's the unique thing about him, is for being a bigger, more mature bull, he's built so correctly and so flawlessly at the ground, and I just love his body shape and still his presence and his look here from the side. The big bull is going to be your champion.
Over on the Purebred Simmental side is really a nice class, and again, as I've said throughout today, 3 high-quality females that certainly are contenders and not pretenders. They're all competitive. They've all got a lot of good things about them, and it's kind of splitting hairs a little bit on a few of these, but the cow that wins the class is just that, tremendous in terms of cow potential. You love her body, you love her rib shape. She has that extension up through her front end and that sleekness of shoulder that you like. I really like her outer hip and back through her hind legs. She's certainly got enough muscle for me, and I think where she really looks good is when she asks her to go and sets her in motion, just moves extremely well, very fluid, very athletic. A little closer placing, I think, in second and third. And again, as I said earlier, both are really, really good females. And the female that wins the class, I guess we kind of see her to be just a little tighter about her front end in terms of how her shoulder's made. Again, one that you like her neck and her head, you like her body, you like her depth, you like her spring that she has to her rib, and like her muscle. Maybe not the overall package in terms of completeness from nose to tail as the heifer that wins the class, but a good female. Young lady doing a tremendous job with this female, and here's one that you like in terms of her body depth and her capacity. Again, you like her outer hip and back through her hind leg. Maybe pushing just a little bit of brisket comparative to a few others today, but again, a very sound, fluid, moving female. Young lady's doing an awesome job with an awfully good female. What a good class of heifers that we've just seen. Thank you.
Third and final call, Class 41 and 42, Purebred Simmental females. Third and final call, Class 41 and 42, Simmental females to the Makeup Arena. Second call, Class 43, Simmental females. Second call, Class 43, Simmental females. This is your first call, all champion, a reserve champion, Purebred Simmental females. First call, all champion, and reserve champion, Purebred Simmental females to the Makeup Arena. Congratulations to your grand champion Mainetainer bull here at your 2022 North American entry number 11. Men moving forward 180J, exhibited by Jason D. Minert and J.S. Simmentals of Atkinson, Illinois. Your reserve grand champion Mainetainer bull goes to entry number 5, Dunk Francisco 201K, exhibited by Hadley Dunklaw of Wayne, Nebraska. First call class 17 and 18 maintainer females. First call class 17 and 18 maintainer females. Purebred Simmental female exhibitor entry number 218 and 193 into the makeup arena immediately. Once again, Purebred Simmental entry number 218 and 193 to the makeup arena immediately. Your class is getting ready to enter the ring.
Well, a really good class, and you've, I'm sure, tired of me saying this, but I've been so impressed with the quality that you've brought for everyone's approval today and appraisal, not just ours. And this class certainly would represent and echo those same statements that we've said all day. Really, five tremendously good females that I'm sure leading up to this point and probably on through the rest of the remaining of their career will win some shows somewhere. And that's a congratulation, a tribute to you, the breeders of these exhibitors. But we really like this heifer that wins this class, and her angles are right in our opinion. We just love her through her shoulder and through her neck. She's got enough spring of rib and just total body for us, a female that's good out her hip. And when you ask this one to go and set her off in motion, she knows what she's supposed to do. She's very, very sound, very, very true about herself, and one that we like quite well. We like a lot of things about the second place heifer as well. She's probably a little thicker when you look at her from behind. Her neck to us doesn't come out quite as high as the heifer that wins the class. She's a little more bolder about her shoulder, maybe a little shorter about her neck. And we might like to just see her with just a little bit more lower 1/3 when we compare her with the heifer that wins the class. But again, I think two really high quality individuals that certainly deserve to be up on the top of this class. So congratulations to you both. Third place heifer is one that you really like, and in terms of her cow potential, she certainly got it. We like her boldness of rib shape. We like her design back through her hip and back through her hind leg. She may get just a little pigeon-toed for us up front. She's pushing just a nickel a brisket today, but again, I think a very powerful kind of constructed female. Heifer that comes in next, you like her body and her volume and her rib shape. You like her up through that shoulder. She's plenty big, I guess, for me today, but again, just in terms of the quality, she certainly has a tremendous amount of quality and goodness about her. Like the young lady's heifer coming in next that ends up the class, again, you like her squareness of hip, you like her lines, you like her body and her depth. Maybe just struggles just a little bit off of both ends of her skeleton in comparisons with the heifers that are above her. But again, just really, really a nice kind of a female. Super, super set of females, particularly the ones on the top end of this class, and I congratulate you all.
Third and final call, Class 43, Purebred Simmental females. Third and final call, Class 43. Your Class 40 results: in first place, entry number 181, WHF Delilah 450H, exhibited by Jordan Eggersman of Seymour, Indiana. In second place, entry number 222, 4B Miss Honey Butter 8J, exhibited by Sarah Sullivan of Dunlap, Iowa. In third place, entry number 150, exhibited by Pepper Elmore and XTB Cattle and ECS of Wacomas, Oklahoma. In fourth place, entry number 146, Carter Hogue. And in fifth place, entry number 179, Morgan Jackson. Second call, all champion and reserve champion Purebred Simmental females. Second call, all champion and reserve champion Purebred Simmental females.
Well, here in your Simmental ring, three nice heifers in this particular class, and Donnie and I are real comfortable with this heifer we have up top. Just she's one where you get back off and view her from the side, and she gives you that nice look that we've been looking for all day. She's very attractive through that front 1/3. That shoulder sits in there very, very nicely. And if you look at her, she balances up really nice from her chest back through her underline and into her flank. She just balances up very, very good. And yet she's a heifer that's got some width and dimension when you get behind her and view her from behind. We ask her to go in motion, and I think she excels both the heifers that stand behind her in this particular lineup here today. The heifer that comes second, we like her moderation. We sure like that about her. She's a female that's good out through her hip. When we ask her to go, we'd like to change the way she moves about them front two, just free her up, loosen her up a little bit, and I think she'd be more competitive. We like the body and the kind of this one that comes here in 3. We'd like to lean her up a little bit. I think if we did that, I think her shoulder wouldn't push quite so much, and I think it'd allow her to get out and go just a little bit better. But if you like them stout and powerful with a big rib cage, you'll like that heifer that comes third in this particular class.
Your Class 41 Purebred Simmental female results. In first place, entry number 218, BRB4 JBSF Candy 112J, exhibited by Kelton Arthur of Stillwater, Oklahoma. In second place, entry number 188, KMEM She's a Jewel 106J, exhibited by Circle M Farms and Rockin' P Livestock of Maysville, Kentucky. In third place, entry number 220, Rylan Vaughn. Third and final call on champion and reserve champion, Purebred Simmental females. Third and final call on champion and reserve champion, Purebred Simmental females to the makeup arena. Second call, class 17 and 18 Mainetainer females. Second call, class 17 and 18 Mainetainer females.
Well, again, over on this side of the arena, on the Purebred Simmental side, and again, just a really, really nice set of cattle all the way down through the bottom and end of this class. And we've got one on the front end here that's awfully good, and we really like her just from a lot of different reasons. And I'm not polished a lot in terms of a lot of verbiage and just gibberish, I guess, in terms of reasons, but I really like her body depth, her capacity. I love her through her top and back through that hip. I think she ties really, really nice and sweet through that shoulder, through that head, neck, and shoulder area. And again, I think where she looks just as good as when you get her out and set her in motion and ask her to go. She's just pleasant to watch, move around the ring, and that's so important, I guess, from our standpoint. So nice heifer. Congratulations, young lady. The black heifer coming in next, again, maybe a little closer placing from second and third in our opinion. I just like the swoop and the belly that this one shows you comparative to the heifer that's in third. Her neck doesn't tie in quite as high as the heifer that wins the class, but it's certainly not bad at all. I like her shoulder placement. I like her depth of body. Really, really a nice female, just maybe not the overall punch as you see in that one that wins the class. The red heifer, good female. Again, I like her through her shoulder, maybe just a tad bit better through her shoulder than the heifer that stands in front of her. I don't read her to be quite as deep in terms of her body shape, in terms of her rib shape, but certainly enough muscle and enough thickness. Maybe if we could just deepen her down back through her lower 1/3, she becomes more of an ideal piece, but a really, really good female, certainly a tremendous individual representing them here at the show. The black heifer coming at you next. Again, you like a lot of things about her. I like her down her top and back through her hip. She gets a little sucked up back through her 1/3 for me, that lower 1/3. We just like to see her just a little deeper in terms of that. She's got body. She's got rib shape. She just gives it up a little bit from her forerib back through her flank. We end up with a red heifer again that just hit a lot of really, really good heifers in this class, but there's one that has a lot of quality. Straight down her lines, good top, good out of her hip, just not the body, the overall depth of rib, the depth of body and spring of rib that you see in those ones above her, but a good class. Congratulations.
In your Class 42 Purebred Simmental female show, results are as follows. In first place, entry number 203, KC2 Miss Serena 74J, exhibited by Chloe Clark of Muldrow, Oklahoma. In second place, entry number 201, JSOL TSSC Rosie Leap 1000J, exhibited by Tim Schaefer Show Cattle and Aubrey Neal of Hagerstown, Indiana. In third place, entry number 197, Carleen Coulterman. In fourth place, entry number 217, Cameron Clapp. And in fifth place, entry number 196, Nicholas Wiley. Now entering the ring is a selection of your Division 5 champion, Purebred Simmental female. Third and final call, Class 17 and 18 Mainetainer females. Third and final call, Class 17 and 18 Mainetainer females to the makeup arena.
Just phenomenal quality out here in this first class of Mainetainer heifer calves, and I think depending on where you place your preference, you could jumble them top three around about any way you wanted and justify it. Young ladies heifer I'm going to use to win today. I think that these top two are probably the most similar in their type and kind and their balance today. With that being said, though, I think the young lady's heifer that I'm going to use to win is just a notch stouter and squarer out of her hip. I think there's more true power and base width in that female. And I think the big advantage that both of these females have over the heifer in third is just having a more advanced body shape at this stage of their life. They're a little bolder and truer there in their forerib. They've got more upper rib shape in them today and just more dimension throughout. Now, the young man's heifer there in second, she is probably the most extreme in the sweep to the rear third of her body, and I think that's her advantage in the class. Much like our class winner, she's really unique and attractive up there through that front end, and she too can get out and move really well. Young lady's heifer there in third is the one that I think has a tremendous amount of future ahead of her. I love the athleticism of this heifer. She's extremely feminine. She just has a little later maturing look to her. Today, she's not there in terms of rib shape and body. She's not as bloomy as those other two heifers, but I think with time, that heifer could be as competitive as any of them. I really love the femininity and structural quality of that female. Heifer in fourth, she just falls out in terms of her hip set. She's a little rounder and steeper in the way that she's set from her hooks to her pins, and she's just not quite as comfortable in the way that she handles her hind leg. In a really tough class, it's those little nitpicky details that unfortunately have to sort them, but nonetheless, tons and tons of quality out here.
First call, Class 19 and 20 Mainetainer females. First call, Class 19 and 20 Mainetainer females.
Well, what a tremendous lineup in this particular division. And again, as I've said throughout today, I think you have to be positive when you get to this point, and certainly it's easy to do that from the vantage point that Barry and I have here. These are just good cattle, and again, they might not be totally what everybody's looking for today, but for us, they certainly appear that when this part of their career is over, they're going to make awfully good cows, and that's the most important part of it, in our opinion. And The heifer on the far end just really like this one in terms of her lines and her straightness of lines and her body and her substance. Really like her in terms of her bone work and the foot size that she has. That's an awfully good one. The one right behind her is one that certainly has a lot of qualities, extremely sound and true as she gets out and travels, and one that you like the swoop that she has to her belly, and you like the placement of her shoulder, and her lines are just perfect in our opinion. She's good jointed. She's just really, really good, and the term that everybody likes to use, just good looking. We like that one quite a little bit. The young man's heifer here next, really tremendous in terms of her body depth and her capacity. Again, you like her structure, you like her footwork, her bone work. Again, her neck comes out of her shoulder high with some authority. She's nicely presented up through her front 1/3. So she's really good as well. Then we end up with a really stout, powerfully constructed kind of a female again that you have to admire her for her body depth, her capacity. When you get behind her, she shows you some true spring to her rib. She's nicely made up through her shoulder, and one again that I think is awfully competitive. So really we've got 8 heifers out here. In our opinion, they're all extremely good. We'll show you the 2 that we like. It's going to be awfully interesting to see them back out here as they vie for your overall grand and reserve. But my congratulations to you. We have been kind of a quiet crowd today, and if you would please put your hands together and show this group a nice round of applause. They certainly deserve it.
Your Division 5 champion of your Purebred Simmental females goes to entry number 203, KC2 Miss Serena 74J, exhibited by Chloe Clark of Muldrow, Oklahoma. Your Division 5 Reserve champion goes to entry number 181, WHF Delilah 450H, exhibited by Jorgen Eggersman of Seymour, Indiana.
Over here in the main ring, we've got another set of these March-born heifer calves out here, and there's a little variation in terms of size and type out here amongst these 3. The one I'm going to go ahead and use to win, she's not perfect in her hip set, and that's where I'd like to modify her. I'd like to elevate her in her pins and square her up in that regard. But everything from there forward, I really like. She's awesome in terms of her body shape. I think she's appropriate in terms of her maturity today. She's very maternal looking up there through her front end, and by no means is she unfunctional in terms of her structure. It's more of an aesthetic issue in my opinion. Heifer there in second. You know, she's got a really neat look to her. I appreciate the extra performance in her, and at the same time, I think that might be what gets her in a little bit of trouble. Her body shape just hasn't quite bloomed and caught up to the upsize that she has there in terms of her frame. Nonetheless, a good structured, fundamentally correct female that's sound and athletic in her look, and then she has a tremendous eye appeal here from the side profile as well. Heifer that's going to round things out just got into a tough class. I like the body shape and I like the moderation in her. She's just a little plainer than them 2 heifers ahead of her, a little rounder and more open in her shoulder, maybe a little more general in terms of the set to her hip and hind leg.
Well, as we wind down the day and get into our last division, and 2 really nice entries in this particular division, and the heifer up on the front end is one, again, that you like in terms of her body depth. And yeah, she's a little different color than we've seen all day long, but she's actually a full blood, and certainly have to appreciate her for that. Her length of spine, her squareness that she has down through her top, really a nice kind of a female. The one behind her, the black heifer, really a tremendous female and doing a really good job with this calf. You like a lot of things about this cow. This is certainly one that could have used some more competition because she's awfully good. Like her down through her top and back through her hip. She's got a nice udder about her. She's deep enough in terms of her body shape. She's nice enough in terms of the way she's made through her front end. And again, got a really nice calf at side, which gives her an advantage. You'll win this division. You'll be reserved. Congratulations.
Out here in our calf division in the Maintainer show, we've got some really high quality females, you know, not to beat a dead horse to death, but quality's been outstanding amongst these two classes, and in particular these four heifers that stand out here. You know, when you get right down to it though, I think there's two heifers out here that are just peas in a pod. There's two really neat chested, big ribbed, high volume type females that balance extremely well in terms of their profile, and two of them that I think have a tremendous amount of future to them. With that being said, I'm going to use those two heifers out of that first class for champion and reserve in your division. Give them a big hand.
In your Class 43 results of your Purebred Simmental females, in first place, entry number 219, WHF Andy 368H, exhibited by Eli Mundy of Speedwell, Tennessee. In second place, entry number 207, Brian Valentine of Roland, Oklahoma. Second call, Class 19 and 20, Maintainer females. Second call, Class 19 and 20, Maintainer females. Your Class 15 Maintainer female results, in first place and also your Division 1 champion goes to entry number 15, KBSC Katarina 232K, exhibited by Carly Sesbo of Creston, Ohio. Your reserve champion, Division 1 female, in second place in Class 15 goes to entry number 13, MCCF Kaylee, exhibited by Aaron Cavanaugh of Memphis, Michigan. In third place, entry number 16, exhibited by Hannah French. In fourth place, entry number 17, exhibited by Chloe Koblenz. Your Class 16 Maintainer female results, in first place, entry number 25, BDCC AGRF Cali 142K, exhibited by Emily Kramer of Vanderbilt, Pennsylvania. In second place, entry number 40, KSCB Houdat Class 9193K, exhibited by Cora Koblenz of Thurmont, Maryland. In third place, entry number 23, Emily Caffey. And ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to recognize your contestants here in the final drive for your selection of your Grand Champion Purebred Simmental Female, Circle M Farms and Rock and Peace Livestock of Maysville, Kentucky. Tim Schaefer Show Cattle and Hadley Hendrickson of Hagerstown, Indiana. Brecken Bloomberg of Secor, Illinois. Sadie Robinson of Cushing, Oklahoma. Chloe Clark of Muldrow, Oklahoma. And Eli Mundy of Speedwell, Tennessee. We'd also like to thank again our judges this afternoon, Donnie Robertson of Oklahoma and Associate Judge Mr. Barry Nowatzki. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together one more time for these tremendous Simmental exhibitors and our judges here this afternoon.
Just a great class of these Mainetainer heifer calves out here in this February class, and took a little time to get sorted through them. There's a lot of quality out here, but you know, after her escapade, this white flanked heifer really, I mean, she come back out here and just really knocks it out of the park in my mind. You know, she's awesome in terms of her body shape. She's so maternal in her look here from the side profile. And then the thing I like about her best is the way that she handles that hind leg on the move. And I think that's a big advantage that she has over that heifer there in second. Heifer in second is one that's presented immaculately today. I like her extra boldness. I like the power that she has there through her center rib. Maybe compared to that heifer that we're going to use to win the class, though, she wants to hawk in just a little bit from behind. And then up here through her front 1/3, she might have just a little more chest to her. But nonetheless, I love the power in that female. The heifer that comes out in third, I think that's one that has a tremendous future ahead of her. Today, she's the green one of these top four for sure. She needs a little more bloom and body, but when she gets her set up there from the side profile, there's no doubt that she's got the right parts and pieces to be really competitive on down the road. Extra stout and powerful heifer that comes out here in fourth. And, you know, once again, that's another one that makes things difficult to sort here because she's so powerful and she's so wide, yet, you know, she still balances right here from the side profile. Now, in my opinion, and the way that I like cattle, she might be just a little coarse for me, a little more open in her shoulder, maybe a little rounder in her bone work, and that's what got her down there in that fourth hole. Heifer that comes next is very maternal in her look. I love the body shape in her. She's just a little plainer than those up ahead of her. And then we work down through the class. We've got a little greener type red heifer here that needs more days. She just needs more time. She needs more bloom to go with her look and her femininity up there through her front end. And then this really stout heifer, I just wish she moved a little better here, specifically on them hind two.
Well, as we come to a conclusion in your Simmental show, I just want to say a few things, and I'm not big on talking, and I agree with Donnie earlier when he said today's about the Simmental breed and about the cattle that you breeders raise and bring out here to exhibit, and the Simmental enthusiasts that are here to watch the show today. This is your day. It's not about Donnie or Barry, or we're just out here to give you our opinions. So with that, you know, anytime you get a chance to come on the Green Shavings in Freedom Hall, it's an honor. And I'd like to thank Donnie, first of all, for asking me to come out here and help him through this today. And it's been a ball for me. Anytime you get to evaluate cattle with a dear friend, I think it's, you know, that's means a lot to me. So I appreciate it, Donnie. I appreciate the Simmental Association and Louisville for putting on this function. It's the best there is anywhere. So I'd like to thank you all for that. Thank all you breeders. I'm going to turn it over to Donnie and let him close this out.
Well, thank you, Barry, and I appreciate the kind comments and compliments, if you will. And again, we'll try not to make this extremely long, but obviously we've kind of waited to give some thank yous towards the end. And for me, certainly, I want to thank a lot of people, but to John Chisholm, to the North American staff, to everybody that makes this thing run as smoothly as it does year in and year out, my sincere appreciations to you. To the Kentucky Simmental Association as well as the American Simmental Association for asking me to do this. It's been quite an honor, and anytime you're asked to judge a show, it's quite an honor. And for this one here was kind of close to home for me. Growing up just about 60 miles straight east of here in Lexington, and you know, we didn't have much, and I'm not crying or anything, but this was the first show that I came to as a 17-year-old kid, and certainly I came here with Simmental cattle, if you can believe it. They were a lot different back in those days. If you liked them red and white and spotted up and maybe not really deep body, then those were the kind that you liked and you thought they were really good. And as you fast forward to now and you see the quality that you have out here in this particular lineup and that we've seen all day, I commend you as breeders and as an association for making these cattle better. It's pretty simple, I guess, with myself and you know, in terms of the kind of cattle that I like, and Barry and I see them similar, and we see them a lot alike. And I want to thank Barry for accepting this position to come out here with me. Barry's got a good eye, and he's a good cattleman. He makes his living in the business, as all of you do. And we travel, we see each other quite often at Angus sales throughout the country, and purchasing different kind of cattle in terms of more performance cattle than show cattle. But he's got a good eye for him, and he picks out the good ones. And so I appreciate him being out here with me, and I appreciate the friendship that we've developed over the last several years, and appreciate him taking the time out of his schedule to be here. Again, you know, the only thing, Barry and I really didn't talk before this show, but the one thing that I mentioned to him was I wanted this to be about you guys. You know, this show deal is so different anymore, and it's changed, and I'm not totally sure if I like the way it's headed, but you can't disqualify the cattle and how good they really are. But the one thing I wanted to make sure was that this isn't about us. You guys could have picked anybody besides myself to judge, and it's about you, the exhibitors. You're the ones that put in the work and spend the money. It doesn't. It's kind of costly to go up and down the road these days, and to stay in hotels, and to be here for a week at Louisville, and to go through all the stuff that you have to go through. And so, you know, from my standpoint, I appreciate you all more than you know. And this show is about you, the exhibitors and the breeders. And so, from that, I want to thank you very much. We all see cattle somewhat differently, and most of us. You know, most of it, at times, we can get a little barn blind, me included. But when you just ask somebody to come out and give you an honest opinion, to evaluate the cattle to the best of their ability, and that's what Barry and I have done today. That's what those of you in the ring that judge cattle do, and I admire that about you. With that said, again, a tremendous lineup of cattle. My congratulations to everyone. We're going to go pick you a couple of champions, and I wish you the best of luck. And if you would, those of you that are left, again, they don't get much out of this, a ribbon or a banner. Show them a little gratitude and appreciation with a nice round of applause, and we'll go pick you a couple champions.
And your grand champion purebred Simmental female out of your Division 5 goes to entry number 203, KC2 Miss Serena 74J, exhibited by Chloe Clark of Muldrow, Oklahoma.
Over here in our Mainetainer ring, outstanding quality in these 3 January heifer calves. You know, it makes my job fun when they bring you this kind of quality. There's little differences amongst these top two. I think you could go back and forth on. At the end of the day, I just love the femininity and the refinement and the smoothness of the young man's heifer that's going to win the class. And to go along with that, I think she's got just a little bolder turn to her lower rib right now, a little more genuine shape right there in her forerib. That heifer that comes in second, I think that she has better days ahead of her. Extremely athletic in terms of her feet and legs. I think that's her big advantage of the class is that heifer really does just get out and grab ground and go really well today. Now today, maybe compared to that one that wins, she doesn't balance up with as much of that overwhelming body shape, and she maybe wants to pull up just a little higher in her tail head there, but I still think there's a tremendous amount of future in that female. Heifer that rounds things out just lands in a tough class. I really admire the type that she represents. She's moderate, good in terms of her body shape, everything balances, but compared to those two more extreme females, she's a little crestier up there through her neck, a little deeper chested, maybe doesn't have quite the front end quality that we get in those other cattle. We get into this January and February division on these Mainetainer heifer calves. These two class winners are really, really good. Yeah, I'm very tickled with the way that they've come together back out here. And I think that they did so in their respective classes just based on the foundation and the principles of maternalness in breeding cattle. And in my opinion, they look like they're going to have, obviously a strong show career going forward. But like I've said all day, I like to try to pick these females that'll go out and make a living and earn you some revenue along the way. That there's nitpicky differences amongst them. I haven't completely made up my mind yet. So I'm going to go take one more peek at these two, and I'll get you your champion and reserve selected.
And your reserve grand champion, Purebred Simmental female, goes to entry number 104. J. Saul, PCC, Proud Mary, 1532J, exhibited by Brecken Bloomberg of Secor, Illinois. We'd also like to congratulate your premier exhibitor of your Purebred Simmentals to Tim Schaefer Show Cattle. Your premier breeder also goes to J.S. Simmentals. Congratulations once again, Purebred Simmental exhibitors. First call, class 21, 22 and 23 maintainer females. First call, class 21, 22 and 23 maintainer females. Results of class 17 of your maintainer females. In first place, entry number 34, Fen Stella, 26K, exhibited by Naomi Fennig of Coldwater, Ohio. In second place, entry number 30, Keena GTC Missy, 201K, exhibited by Emma Graft of Middletown, Ohio. In third place, entry number 27, Dunk Franny, 205K, exhibited by Hadley Dunklow of Wayne, Nebraska. In fourth place, entry number 28, Lane Howie. In fifth place, entry number 29, Cecilia Mercina. In sixth place, entry number 32, Katie Cooper. And in seventh place, entry number 35, Caden Daughtry. Your Class 18 results. In first place, entry number 38, KABG Maisie, 275K, exhibited by Grayson Belcher of Blakesburg, Iowa. In second place, entry number 37, Joan Ladycake, 127K, exhibited by Emily Jones of Hamilton, Ohio. In third place, entry number 39, Owen Fennick. Your Division II champion maintainer female goes to entry number 38, KABG Maisie, 275K, exhibited by Grayson Belcher of Blakesburg, Iowa. Your reserve champion goes to entry number 34, Fen Stella, 26K, exhibited by Naomi Fennig of Coldwater, Ohio. Second call, class 21, 22, and 23 maintainer females. Second call, class 21, 22, and 23 maintainer females.
Nice pair of females here in these two yearling heifers, and I just think there's more femininity and refinement in the heifer I'm going to use to win the class. Ideally, I'd like to maybe relax her just a little in her spine, and that might be in part to her wanting to fight just out here a little bit. But nonetheless, good in terms of her feet and legs, awesome bodied, and just very maternal in her look all the way through. And in my mind, that was what set her apart in this particular class. Heifer that comes in second, there's no shortage of quality here. Very, very eye-appealing female. Great deal of look here from the side profile. In my opinion, she's just maybe a little more set out in her shoulder, and maybe wants to come up just a little short on that stride of them hind two, and that's why I put her there in second. But I love the power, and I love the eye appeal here from the side profile. Nice job, young lady.
Third and final call, class 22 and 23 maintainer females. Third and final call, class 22 and 23 maintainer females. Results of class 19. And also your Division III champion goes to entry number 44, CLA Just As Pretty, 1001J, exhibited by Carly Clark of Muldrow, Oklahoma. In second place, and also your Division III reserve champion goes to entry number 43, Lad Juanita, 214J, exhibited by Macy Scher of Huntington, Indiana.
we start to jump into these bred heifers, we kick things off with a really, really good one. Love the body shape, love the refinement and the femininity up there through her front 1/3, and then she handles it just as smooth as glass on the move. Just an excellent female. It's balanced perfectly here from the side profile.
Maintainer entry number 24 to the makeup arena immediately. Maintainer entry number 24 to the makeup arena immediately. Once again, class 22 and 23 should be in the makeup arena. Class 22 and 23 to the makeup arena immediately. Maintainer entry number 73 to the makeup arena immediately. Maintainer entry number 73. This is also your first call, all champion and reserve champion maintainer females. First call, all champion and reserve champion maintainer females to the makeup arena. Scott Foster, if you're still on the grounds, please come to the Freedom Hall announcers table. Scott Foster, the judge of the key show, if you are still on the grounds, please head to the announcers table in Freedom Hall. Once again, class 22 and 23 maintainer females to the makeup arena immediately. Second call, all champion and reserve champion maintainer females. Second call, all champion and reserve champion maintainer females to the makeup arena. Third and final call, all champion and reserve champion maintainer females to the makeup arena. Third and final call, all champion and reserve champion maintainer females to the makeup arena. Your Class 21 results in your maintainer show in first place, entry number 63, KBSC Iris 115J, exhibited by Clara Bollinger of Morovia, Iowa.
just phenomenal quality out here at the top end of this maintainer class. These big bred heifers are impressive. These top two here are just unbelievably good, and I could see where you might want to switch the pair, depending on where you put your preference. But today, I think that freshness is in favor of the young lady's heifer that I'm going to use to win. And I do that, and I say that knowing that I'm giving up some power to do it. But today, I think there's enough in that female that her freshness is the deciding factor. I love her athleticism on the move. Her look here from the side profile is unbelievable, and she is just enough smoother up there through her shoulder and through her chest and the crest of her neck that I felt like she needed to win the class. Heifer that's in second is just one powerful beast. You'd love to have a whole cow herd that looked just like that, and if you did, I think that you'd be in business for a really long time. It's hard to make them that stout and that athletic in their movement. I love the female in terms of her hoof shape. I love her in terms of the boldness of her center body. But compared to that heifer that wins the class, she is just a little more open in her shoulder. Looks like she's starting to push some more fat there to the crest of her neck and maybe down into the base of her chest. But nonetheless, that's an impressive female. Heifer there in third just runs into a tough class. Make no mistake about it, she too is a big-bodied, well presented, well shown type of a female that's just not quite as athletic as them two cattle ahead of her. She's a little flatter in terms of her foot shape and doesn't get out and go quite as well. She's maybe a little more restricted up there through that front end. Here on the standstill, she too gives you a really cowy look.
Results of Class 22 in your Maintainer female show. In first place, entry number 61, ASTN Patience, exhibited by Carly Cyberant of Orange City, Iowa. In second place, entry number 22, BBR Journey 693J, exhibited by Turner Longaker of Kellyville, Oklahoma. In third place, entry number 69, Colby Cooper. Once again, all champion and reserve champion Maintainer females to the makeup arena immediately.
We most certainly haven't backed off on the quality out here in our Maintainer show, and this February bred heifer sure is good looking. You know, it's hard to make them that neat necked at this age and still so productive in terms of her body shape. I love her in the way that she transitions there into her forerib and the boldness that she maintains all the way back into her flank. You know, if you want to be a little nitpicky on that one, she might pull up just a little in her top line on the move. But I still think for as much mass and as many wild pieces as that female has, she's more than acceptable in terms of her athleticism. That's a very high quality female.
Your Class 23 results of your Maintainer show. In first place, entry number 74, TJSC So Sweet 209J, exhibited by Hannah Schaub of Wapakoneta, Ohio. Now entering the ring will be the selection of your Division 5 champion Maintainer female.
we really finished things up with an awesome set of bred heifers out here in this final division, and they've come together really, really good. You know, there wasn't a lot of numbers, but those classes were deep. You know, there may only been 3 head in some of them classes, but they were still good. That being said, you know, I think these class winners out here are maybe as uniform and as similar as any that we've had, just in terms of having that extreme quality and presence to them. They're good structured cattle that are presented impeccably, and then I still think that they have the productive type and look to go out and survive and thrive in the real world. That being said, there's one that hit me awful hard, and I'm going to go out and show you which one that is, and then we'll get you a reserve selected as well. One more time, let's give these Maintainer exhibitors a big hand. They're doing a great job out here today.
Your Division 5 Maintainer champion female goes to entry number 61, ASTN Patience, exhibited by Carly Sabrant of Orange City, Iowa. Your reserve champion Division 5 Maintainer female goes to entry number 74, TJSC So Sweet 209J, exhibited by Hannah Schaub of Wapakoneta, Ohio. Now entering the Maintainer female ring will be the selection of your grand champion Maintainer female. And ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together one more time for our judge, Mr. Dustin Frank of Chapel, Nebraska today, and these wonderful Maintainer female exhibitors.
So we get all these division winners back out here for our champion selection, the Mainetainer show. We kind of wrap up the main show here for the day, and I'm very thankful, guys. I'm very thankful that I get to be here with you today and sort your show. It means a lot to me. I've been really stressed about it, to be right honest. We've got a production sale that we're hosting here on Saturday at home, and I was really conflicted in leaving. But you know, getting on the grounds here, it kind of eased my mind a little bit, because this is where I needed to be today. I had judged here all through college and 4-H, and I'd never set foot in the ring. I didn't even know what it looked like. This facility is amazing and it's beautiful, and I'm sure glad that I've had the opportunity now to judge in Freedom Hall. You know, the cattle have been phenomenal, guys. You know, any one of you standing around can see that. Anybody in the stands can see the quality of the cattle. I mean, it's awesome. You know, but I think that the one thing to keep in mind is that this is a family sport, you know, for most of us. And, you know, at the end of the day, be sure to count your blessings that you get to do this with your family, because there's other parts of the world where something like this would never happen. So I'm not going to bore you to death with any more talking or any more speeches, but, you know, be thankful that we live in a country where we get to do this. Let's give all these good Maine exhibitors a big hand. I'm going to go out and select your champion in reserve.
And your grand champion maintainer female goes to entry number 61, ASTN Patience, exhibited by Carly Seibert of Orange City, Iowa. And your reserve grand champion maintainer female goes to entry number 74, TJSC So Sweet 209J, exhibited by Hannah Schaub of Wapakoneta, Ohio. We'd also like to recognize your premier exhibitor here at your 2022 North American Maintainer Female Show, Mr. Kelton Arthur of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Your premier breeder goes to Blind Badger Ranch of Colorado. Congratulations once again, Maintainer exhibitors, on another great show here at the 2022 North American. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude your shows here in Freedom Hall. We will see you all tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.